Hello everyone, welcome back to your English language class. I hope all the topics which we have discussed earlier are clear to you, and if any kind of doubt is there, please ask those in comment sections below. Today we are going to learn about our next topic, which is about the auxiliaries verbs over there. So let's get started with that. First of all, please tell me what are the auxiliaries over there. Another name for auxiliaries which we can say, auxiliaries are your helping verbs, right? Auxiliaries will be only your helping words. Is, am, are, was, were, has, have, been, all those will be in your auxiliaries. Auxiliaries or the special verbs or the helping words, we can divide those into two different categories, primary auxiliaries and the modal auxiliaries. Primary auxiliaries will consist of only these three verbs over there, be, do and have, and with those all the verbs in the different forms in which they can be divided. For example, be's and other words can be divided into is, am, are, was, were, right? All those forms will also be incorporated in the primary verbs. Next comes do. Do's other forms also, do, did, does, all those will be incorporated in. Then have. Have will also have has and have. Similarly, the modals. Modals will be can, may, shall, will, must, out, used to, dare. These different modals as well as their past form over there. For example, can's past form is could. Can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, all those past forms also will be incorporated in the modals. In today's video, we are going to learn about the usage of all these different helping verbs over there, in which very different situations they can be used. So first of all, what we have learned that be is divided into different forms over there, right? Is, am, are, was, were. Is this used to form a present continuous tense or present tense also we can say. Is used to represent a present tense. See the example, he is playing football. Here it is used to represent a present continuous tense. Is used over here. Next, it is also used to form was and were are used to form past simple past tense or past continuous tense over there, right? He was playing football. Here in the past continuous tense was is used. Likewise, all the different forms we are going to study and their usage, in which different form and different places they are being used over there. Next comes the second one. It is do. Do has all three forms, do, does, plus did. Now do is used in which very particular tense over there? Do and does both are used in present tense, right? While forming the interrogatives over there. Do and does both are used in present tense. Do is used with the plural subjects over there, and does is used with the singular subjects over there. But both are used to form the we can say interrogative sentences of the present tense itself, where they are used to form the interrogatives. For example, do you have maths notebook? So your do, does or did are all used to form an interrogatives over there. When we are going to ask about some information from someone, we are going to use do, did or does. Do and does are used in the present tense. On the other hand, did is used in the past tense. Did is used in the past tense over there. For example, did you fight with him yesterday? That have you fought with that very particular person on yesterday? Did you fight over there? in order to represent a past activity or a past question over there, past interrogative sentence over there, we will use did in that. Similarly, next is your next primary auxiliary is have, and other two forms of have is has and have. Has and have both are used to make perfect tense or perfect continuous tense over there. Have has two forms, has or have. Has we use with singular subjects over there and have with the plural subjects over there. And both these tenses are used to form present perfect tense or the present perfect continuous tense. For example, have you brought your lunch? It can be used to form a question also, interrogative sentence also, and in a simple sentence also to just convey a simple information over there. But please keep it in mind that has and have both are used in forming the present tense only, not in the past tense. Next one is our models. Which are the models? Can, first one, and its past form is could. Can is used in a sentence in order to have or ask permission from someone. Permission as well as the possibility that this action is possible. So can is used in different situations over there. First of all, possibility. For example, can you solve this sum? Can you solve this sum? Possibility over there, you are asking that person that whether he is capable of solving that very sum or not. Is there any chances that he can solve? Possibility. Then along with the possibility, it will show you can is used to show the possibility, as well as we can say permission also. Permission. For example, can I talk to you? Right? You are going to ask permission from someone, and in that very case you can use can. But here could is also there. Could is used in the similar situations itself. Possibility also, permission also, but the condition is it will indicate the possibility and permission which you have asked in the past tense over there, not in the present. Can will be used in the present tense, and could is used to tell the situations of past over there. Similarly with all the cases of may and might. May is also used to indicate permission. It is also used to indicate permission over there. For example, the very basic example that you also use sometimes, may I come in the class, right? To ask permission from someone, we can use may over there. And similarly, might will be used to indicate the permission in the past tense itself. Then it also indicate possibility as well as possibility. Along with possibility, it is used to express a wish. For example, may God bless you. Along with the wish, it is used to indicate a purpose. The reason, the very motive behind doing that very particular task is used or represented by the very word may. See the example. We eat that we may live. The very reason behind why we eat things, just because we can survive, we may live over there. So may is also used to indicate permission, possibility, wish and purpose. And along with that, might is also used to represent all those similar equations and the uses, but the only in the past itself, past situations over there. Next is your shall. Shall is used, shall and will both are used in the future tense, right, in order to show the future comings or the future actions which are going to happen over there. But there is a difference between the usage with the shall and will over there. So let's study that. Shall or should. Shall and should both are used to represent a future situation over there. In the future tense, we can say. Represent future tense over there, or the things which are going to happen in the future. Shall is used to express a command. For example, you shall leave this place at once. Here from the sentence itself, it's very much clear that shall is used to represent a command or an order, we can say that. He ordered that very particular person that he should leave that very place at once from that very time period itself. Then it is also used to inform about the future tenses over there. Next comes will or would. Will is also used in the future tense itself, and the difference between is that shall is used with the first person over there and will is used with the second and the third person over there. It will give information and it will be used with the first person. Then it is used similarly to tell the possible outcomes over there. Possible outcomes of future tense. A possibility itself. Will is used to show the possible events which are likely to happen over there. For example, he will go to Delhi tomorrow. There are chances, there is a possibility that he is likely to go to Delhi tomorrow over there. So in order to show the future outcomes over there or future possibilities over there, we use will and shall. The only difference will be with the persons over there with which the particular word will be used. And on the other hand, should or would will be used to represent the past ones over there. Next comes must. Well, while using the very word must itself, it's very much clear that it tells that person that it is compulsory for him to perform that very action over there. A compulsion is used to that very person over there, that he must do that very thing. So it is used to indicate obligations or compulsion. For example, you must reach school at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock. After compulsion, it is used to indicate determination. Determination means the very desire, the very strong desire that you will do that very particular word. For example, I must finish my work. I must finish my work. Next is out. The very word out means should. It is used in relation to the should itself, the compulsion itself, that this is the very particular work, it is your responsibility that you should use it. So it is used in place of should also, we can say. It also applies compulsion, duty or desirability, and also moral obligation. Moral obligations over there. For example, out is used to tell about the very, we can say, duty or moral obligations over there. Duty, moral obligations, and desirability. For example, we ought to love our neighbors. Here from the sentence itself, it's very much clear that ought to means a kind of responsibility, right? That moral values and the moral ethics, in order to show those, we are using ought to over there. We ought to love our neighbors, that we should love our neighbors. It's our responsibility over there. So the next one is used to. Used to is used to indicate a habit of a person which he was having in the past, but he has left that very habit, but he was in habit of doing those very things. So we use the very word used to in those very cases over there. Used to is used, it means accustomed to. Accustomed to. That very particular person is in habit of. Habit also we can say. It is used to show habit. Habit, or we can say routine or pattern of a particular thing or a person, we can say. Example, you will soon get used to it. That within no time you will be in habit of this very particular thing. It won't take that much time. Then another use of used to is it will represent the past habit of that very particular thing or the person, but which he has discontinued. He is not in habit now at present over there, in past it was. So that will also be represented using used to. Discontinued habit of past. For example, he used to drink tea. Now he takes milk. Earlier he was habit of drinking the tea over there, but now he has changed that very habit and he has started drinking the milk over there. And the last one is dare. The very word dare itself means that a kind of challenge or a command also which a person says or tells to other person over there. dare. Dare means be bold enough. Be bold enough to perform that very particular work over there. It is commonly used in interrogatives and negative sentences. Interrogatives and negative ones. Interrogative and negative sentence. For example, how dare you fight with me? So dare means be bold enough, that how that person dares to fight with that very particular person. Please keep these rules and regulations in your mind, and also we are supposed to learn all the usages of all those different auxiliaries over there and helping verbs over there. Have a clear idea in your mind throughout that. Most probably your helping verbs are divided into two main categories, that is primary and the models one, and then they are divided into the subcategories. Primaries are only of be, do and have along with their different forms over there, and as well as models can, may, might, shall, all those different models over there. So thus in this chapter we have studied usages of all the different auxiliaries verbs over there. Kindly go through these and practice your exercise. Thank you.